On Saturday, the number 15th ranked Hoosiers took on 2 teams and 2 W's to wrap up senior nights. The Hoosiers defeated Cal Baptist 16-7 and Iona 19-5 to start the weekend off 2-0. On Sunday, the Hoosiers took on St. Francis and defeated them by a score of 19-5. Indiana has been on a tear of blowing teams out this stretch. This continued versus Salem as they ended up winning 18-6 with Haley Hunter holding Salem to 6 goals, rounding out the weekend 4-0. The 15th ranked Hoosiers schedule gets a lot harder going forward as Indiana will travel to Irvine, California to take on USC next at the Calvis Invite.
Joining us now in studio with the Candy Stripe Calendar Report is iOS TV sports reporter Joe Elms. Joe?
Thanks, Victoria. It's a jam-packed weekend for Hoosier athletics. On Friday, women's volleyball takes on Maryland and women's basketball hosts Murray State at Assembly Hall. The action continues on Saturday, where men's swimming wraps up the Ohio State Invitational and the football team takes on Michigan State in the battle for the old brass spittoon. On Sunday, women's basketball takes on Lipscomb. Wrestling participates in the Keystone Classic. Women's volleyball welcomes number 3 Wisconsin to town. And men's basketball takes on number 5 UConn at Madison Square Garden in New York City. That's all for this weekend in Hoosier sports. Back to you guys.
So I want to kind of get into some team specifics. And, Joe, I'm going to go to you first on this one. You get the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, season-ending injury, a tore ligament in his wrist. So Jake Browning gets the start against Jacksonville on Thursday, 354 passing yards and a touchdown. So I got to ask, without Joe Burrow, could Cincy still make the playoffs?
I mean, hey, Jake Browning proved that he can go out there and he can play. He went up against what is a really good Jacksonville defense, and I mean, the stats, I don't know if they jump off the page in that game specifically, but he went out there and he put on a show, man. I was very impressed with the way he was playing. He made some really nice throws. And Cincy, to put it to you as best I can, Cincy is not out of this thing. They're not out of this thing. And I think they are more than capable of having a shot, making the playoffs, sneaking in into an uncertain back half of the AFC playoff picture as it stands right now. But I think they got a shot. I think they really do.
Now stepping up to the plate is Callan Singhania, the right fielder. He's got a double. His name so far. That pitch is in the zone for strike 1.
And Singhania 1 for 1 with a double and a walk so far.
And a pick-off attempt here, but nothing's going on.
42 seconds left in period 2.
And Ramos so far doing what I think we've been accustomed to seeing him do over the past year, just domination, not letting Spangler get much of anything going.
Matt Ramos, the 13th finalist in history last year. It was the first time that Purdue had an NCAA finalist since Chris Flieger in 2006. These weight classes physical. Very, very physical, Joe.
Definitely physical. They're not nearly as explosive as we saw with Washington Bowman during the last one, but that was an impressive
huge pat
move
return
right
there.
They'll go out of bounds.
He rolls Raleigh out of bounds. Raleigh was looking over at his bench and looking at the official, kind of wanting a stall warning on Rogatsky. But nothing called.
But it's like you said, Riley. This one has been very physical, much less explosive. Both of these guys trying to feel each other out, get a sense for what they are looking to do, and it's almost like it's a bit of a chess match in a way. I feel like.
That one in nearly the exact same location. Ball 2, 2-0 the count.
Okamoto, did ground out to shortstop in his last at-bat. He's going to look to kind of bounce back here.
That one outside again as the catcher has to reach out and get his glove on it for ball 3. 3-0 the count here to Okamoto. That one kind of falls into the center of the zone. Good pitch right there. Count moves to 3-1. And Okamoto gets his bat on it a little bit, but the count will move to 3-2 as it works back to a full count. As here is Trey Howell for the Eagles. They're trying to get something going. Their two best players have, for the most part, struggled. Wallace and Griffin. Wallace in particular. And Griffin now, he'll put up a little lob toward Wallace. Wallace missed, but he got his own rebound, and he put it back up and in. Nice hustle play by Kason Wallace. A 3-point lead for the Eagles now. And here's Krieger putting a couple of moves on Howell. Ball almost got stolen. Krieger in the corner, 4-3 in the tie. It's good! Ty Krieger from downtown. Tie game! What a shot by Krieger. Jesuit just keeps coming. And Griffin working on Scher. Got a bit of an opening, and he lays it up and in. One of the easiest shots you're ever going to see.
Split the defense nicely there. I mean, that was a really nice move by Rylan Griffin, the Alabama commit.
So first, I want to look at the Pac-12 title game, which is Utah at USC. Now, on Friday, yes. Now Utah, 9-3, so they've had a pretty good season, but they are 7-2 in conference play, 6-0 at home. That's interesting to note. But the problem for this one is they're not going to exactly be at home. They're 3-3, 500 on the road. So I think that for Utah, it is similar somewhat to the Rutgers IU thing we talked about. I mean, I think Utah's a good team. I think they're going to make a pretty good bowl game. I don't think they're close. I don't really think they're on USC's level in terms of talent and skill and just overall, how good they are. I think USC's favored to win, and rightfully so. I think Caleb Williams is going to have another good game. I think, keep in mind, USC, correct me if I'm wrong, their one loss came against the Utes, correct? Against Utah.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I agree that it's going to take, I think it's going to take Coach Sanders more than one season to kind of turn this team around and get them into being consistently like a national contender,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as the spread indicates.
Yeah,
like you said.
That's kind of crazy to me.
21 points. I don't think the Ducks are going to win by 21 points.
Yeah.
I think they're going to win because A, they're at home, which is a massive factor, and B, I think they're probably the better team. I think Colorado has a ton of talent. I'm not completely sure that they have all the chemistry kinks quite figured out yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think Oregon has that.
But yeah. Let's start with Georgia, the big dog. You want to go first for your Rose, or you want to do a Thorn here?
I'll start with the Rose.
Okay, you start with the Rose.
I'll start with the Rose. So I think for Georgia, obviously this team is not what they were last year. I think the Rose is the play of tight end Brock Bowers.
Yep.
I think that's the Rose. He has been the best player on. I don't think Georgia's been the best team in the country. I know they've been ranked number one for the whole season so far, and I think as long as they don't lose, I think they're going to keep that spot. But Brock Bowers has been a tremendous help to new starting quarterback Carson Beck, and he's been the best. I think he's been the best tight end in the country. No questions asked.